Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mkhwebane. It is exactly 4 years since the first president of a democratic South Africa, Nelson Mandela, passed away. Madiba died on 5 December 2013 and was laid to rest on 15 December. The Nelson Mandela Foundation is marking the day by unveiling an exhibition called Unthreading Mandela. Meanwhile, today's activities come in the wake of yesterday's report by Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane. The report indicates that the Eastern Cape provincial government improperly diverted funds amounting to 300 million rand towards Madiba's funeral. The funds were earmarked for the acceleration of social infrastructure development. Ironically, the Public Protector cleared Premier Phumulo Masualle, into whose personal account the provincial treasury paid 250,000 rand. This in violation of the PMFA and National Treasury regulations. What time is it? It's question time. Welcome to the show. Indeed, we are live and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial is 089-110-4210 internationally, +27891104210. Tweet us your comments at QuestionTime24 is our Twitter handle. My guest today, Luzu Gogoti, is Director of Communications and Outreach at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. He is with me in studio. And on the line, we're joined by Unthreading Mandela, who is one of Madiba's granddaughters. Let me welcome both of you on the, well, you with me here. Let me welcome Dilega on the line. Dilega, are you with us on the line?
Yes, I'm with you. Good evening to the listeners.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much for joining us. What kind of a day is it for the family?
Well, for me, the day started very teary. I don't know, of all the years that Granddad has passed, this year was the hardest. I don't know why that is, but I was a bit in a depressive mode, but my friends picked me up. And as the day progressed, it improved.
Were you given enough time to mourn your grandfather, not our statesman? You know,
for me, not so much, because myself and my Aunt Maki formed part of the organizing team, which we called Project X.
Yes.
And when it hit us, when Granddad passing hit us, we were all hands on, especially me and her, right at the thick of things. So I never had time to process things, because I had to make sure that things are done according to plan on the family side. So even now, it's our family situation is very unique, in the sense that not many people that have lost their loved ones still see their loved ones on billboards on a regular basis and see their faces, but we in that position. Yes, yes, we understand that people are sympathizing and empathizing with us, but also the flip side of that coin is that it doesn't allow us time to process and grieve.
And I'm sure it wouldn't make it any easier that this Public Protector released her report yesterday, which was really unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, it is so deplorable. I mean, I'm in the NGO space, being the founder of and CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, a foundation that was founded to carry on the legacy of Granddad in the rural space. So, to that money that is earmarked for infrastructure, I know how much infrastructure required, especially in education space in the Eastern Cape. There are schools that are still mud schools, and there are schools that still don't have amenities. And for that money that was earmarked for that to be plundered in such a manner, it is quite disappointing and hurtful that it was, money was abused in that manner.
So what is your wish regarding that?
I hope that the people that did this can be found, and they can face the full might of the law. Because, a lot of children in the rural areas, some of the children, one of the projects that we do is the pressure of sanitary wear. Some of the girls don't go to school because they don't have sanitary wear. They are way behind in terms of the ICT industry, and when globally the world is moving towards ICT. And to have children that should have had things and their money abused in that manner, those people deserve to be in jail and locked up for a long time. And over and above that, that money needs to be repaid.
Dilega Mandela, we wish you strength as a family going forward. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, let me bring you in here. As the foundation, perhaps let's just start on that note. Corruption. When the old man is lying there cold, and when we're supposed to be mourning, people are making money.
Well, Mr. Tseru, it's so...
No, you can call me Mpo.
I call him Mpo outside there.
Yeah.
It's shocking. It's outrageous that we have people who are put in positions of authority make decisions about other people's lives, given big budgets, given responsibility to plan and impact the change of those lives. And sometimes we stand in public platforms and challenge and condemn government for failing, because we say there's no money, the money is not allocated for things that are important. When in fact, when those monies are allocated, and here we're talking about amounts ranging to around 300 million.
Yes.
And that's probably not all of it, because other provinces were involved in similar acts. And that money doesn't reach the people it's meant to reach, where there are infrastructure challenges. That money was specifically for infrastructure development, and it was rerouted. And that reroute does not mean there was no money or budgets or resources allocated for when any state president passes away. There is always a plan by government to do those things. So when people actually create opportunities for them to cash in on these things, we have to stand up as society, condemn those, and really be outraged by these kind of acts as society. If we're not, then it's normal. The abnormal becomes normal. And as the foundation was saying, there has to be a very strong message that is sent through actions that are taken against the people that did this, when everybody was mourning the passing of our great leader, when everyone was supposed to be thinking about how to move forward with that kind of pain. Other people were seeing opportunities to do business and cash in. And I think that is outrageous. So I think if we don't learn from this as a country, we'll continuously have this kind of alarm and shock every time it happens. And I don't think we should go through this cycle again.
Elvis, you're in Midrand. Welcome.
Hello, Mpo. Thank you for taking my call, and hello to the guests there.
Yes, welcome.
You see, Mpo?
Yes.
In the Republic, there's a problem, you see, because the corruption issue is that it starts with our headman, you see, because we have Jacob Zuma, who's the president, and who's the arbiter. I mean, the
headman,
champion. The headman I'm referring to. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I wanted you to just clarify me when you say it starts with the headman, Mantuna, as in Nduna.
No, I'm referring to the president.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm saying this thing starts with the president.
Okay.
Zuma, in this case, is a man who have seen to be corrupt, and you can see that a lot of things. He even apologized the Nkandla issue. So now, when you have premiers who are doing the same, that is why right now is that people who are seen to be doing wrong things, they are untouchable. You see, and people who are doing good things, they are not needed anywhere. We have seen Bongo, the guy who was just appointed as the security of state agents, is bribing other people. You know, people in South Africa are suffering. They need service delivery. The government will tell you they don't have money. Now there's a funeral of Nelson Mandela. People, they take opportunity to steal money. You see, and the reality is that it doesn't mean that the government doesn't know. There are things that, you know, we have the IOs, the investigation officers from the local police stations. It doesn't need to take longer than it took to know that in the Eastern Cape they stole money in the name of Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
But what I'm saying that in conclusion is that we need to fix our country. It is not proper for us to have Jacob. This thing is not to go in cycles. Jacob Zuma is corrupt, and therefore there are some people who are under him who are doing the same thing that are copying from him. If you are a role model or you lead people, you must behave in a certain way. And if you're found to be in the wrong side of the law, please leave and let other people come in. You see?
Okay,
so
Elvis.
That's the problem that we have, Mr. Mpo.
No, thanks very much, Elvis, for the call there. Well, I don't know, how does the president's name get brought into this corruption about Mandela's funeral? But yeah, maybe I would rather we talk about how does it impact. Obviously, it probably wouldn't impact much. Instead, it separates the icon away from this illicit acts.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we should be surprised that the name of the president comes into this, or the current administration comes into this debate, because the people who are watching these things happen every day here on SABC, we're watching stories of corruption that are happening. We are watching a commission after commission set up to investigate one act of corruption after another. Yes. So you know that there is corruption that involves government officials, government ministers, and so on. So this is, people are not blind. People are aware and they're clear that these things are happening in front of them, and they actually want action to be taken. What's missing, Mpo, is a decisive action. So if in the absence of decisive action taken against people who are corrupt, people are going to blame the people who are supposed to take the action, and that is government.
A good heart and a good head are always a formidable combination, well, says Nelson Mandela. Let's go to Midrand once again. Is it Sipho?
Yes, Mpo, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thanks for the call, Sipho.
Very well, thank you, Mpo.
Yeah.
You know, just a quick one.
Yes.
Yes, or can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say, you know, to Umama Mandela, to say, please, you have to make sure you are behind this investigation.
Which one?
I want to disagree with Elvis, okay? Because you cannot say corruption is centered around one person who is not even a billionaire. You understand what I'm saying? So what we need is a judicial commission of inquiry, but
again.
Sorry?
You want another judicial commission of inquiry, Sipho?
No, there is no another. Has there been one?
No. I mean, there's so many commissions, man. Oh.
No, not the parliamentary commissions and all that. We need a complex one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That will investigate everyone.
Oh.
And just one last point, Mpo.
Yes.
I noticed something, you know, when this guy was talking, there was a picture that came out there of the KZN conference where they were holding plaques of SDZ. I just need to know how is that related to the topic. Thank you so much, Mpo.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Well, I'm sure the producers are listening. Why did they roll those visuals of NDZ when we're talking Mandela corruption? Wow. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there will be some explanation there. Indeed, people are watching, but it is not good when Mandela's name is associated with this type of corruption.
Well, isn't it said that today we're talking about remembering the icon, remembering the person who sacrificed almost all of his life for us to live in a country of his dreams, of our dreams. Yeah. And he knows, that's why he said it is now in our hands, that his job was not done and we had to continue. Yeah. But at the time we're supposed to honor that legacy. What are we doing? Even you just now said Mandela corruption, because it is muddying his good name, right? The actions of other people who decided that at this time we're going to be opportunistic, we're going to enterprise with Mandela's name, now actually have led us to talking about the name Mandela and corruption in almost like it's synonymous in one word. Because yes, and there's nothing wrong with the Public Protector's report coming up at this time, but it happened during Madiba's funeral, and people use that to cash in. So I'm saying it's important for us to think that maybe there is a reason this is happening, and we need to be grateful that it happened around Mandela's name, because it then reminds us of the values that Madiba stood for, the values of accountability, the values of transparency, the values of ethical leadership. And we're missing that. That's what we miss about his passing away. And I think something like that, like this, reminds us of what we can learn from this kind of corruption and using Madiba's legacy and values.
Wise man.
Good afternoon, Mpo, and good afternoon to LZK. Mpo, upangeli ngemivulo ndijongile lento yakho.
Indon?
Lento yakho yongaphangeli ngemivulo ndijongile.
Mfondini kawume man benikaphilanga kutheni na?
Okay, Mpo. You know, firstly, let me say again, may the soul of Tatu Mandela rest in peace. You know, Mpo, people were very confused when the EFF leadership had to make a decision which party they must vote for between DA and the ANC in the metros. And then the EFF leadership said they had to choose a better devil. And people never understand that statement. This is one of the reasons that Julius Malema said we had to choose a better devil. How do you do corruption in the name of Nelson Mandela? We have to start there. I don't want to talk about Jacob Zuma corruption and so on. But Nelson Mandela is dead. And then we do corruption in the name of Nelson Mandela. So this is one of the reasons the EFF leadership said we had to choose a better devil. I thank you both.
Thank you very much. Well, let's talk about the Unthreading Mandela. What is it?
We know that Madiba would have been 100 next year. He was born in 1918. 2018, he would have been reaching his centenary. Yeah. So we have a centenary campaign of Nelson Mandela, and this is one of his first projects, or the first projects of that campaign. Yeah. It's an exhibition that is sitting at the Nelson Mandela Foundation as part of our Center of Memory. We are really trying to get the memory of Madiba coming through many channels and many stories. We've done many exhibitions in the past. We've done an exhibition on my constitution, which represents one of his legacies. This is one of his greatest legacies. We've done an exhibition on the life and times of Nelson Mandela. This exhibition basically looks at his entire life, but also his legacy and the values that he stood for. What he achieved with very little, right? And sacrifices that he's gone through, and what he's done for society. But what we as people, after having done all of that, are beginning to undo what Madiba had put in place. This is why the Unthreading, it looks at his story through his fashion sense, it looks at his story through the clothes that defined his clothing over the years, from childhood all the way to the time he passed. So you'll see what he kind of wore through the time he was in prison, the time he was president, the time he was retiree. So all of those come through this exhibition. And when we unthread, meaning we undo the little threads that make up the cloths and the textile that Madiba built, and those values are represented in those kind of textiles. And we're saying, let's instead of unthreading, let's relook and rethread them and find ways of rebuilding those values as individuals and as collective.
Yandisa?
Hey, Simbo.
What put you?
Yes, man. Thanks for taking my call, Mpo. Mpo, thanks for the topic, man. As I said, as it is. But I wanted to just bring something into light that Nelson Mandela's legacy can never be tainted. I don't think we should be worried about that. No one can mud Nelson Mandela's name. It's documented all over the world. This is especially for your guest in the studio. I understand he says this from the perspective of being concerned. I really don't think we should be concerned. Coming to what was said by the previous caller, that the current president has a lot to do with what has transpired in South Africa in terms of corruption and many other negative things. We mustn't look down on us as Africans as if these things were never predicted. You know, if you try and defend President Zuma about corruption, it's as if as Africans we cannot predict and therefore we cannot think. These things were said before President Zuma even became the president. I remember clearly then Vice Chancellor of UNISA, Professor Bani Pichar, you know, he's one of the people who made it clear that President Jacob Zuma would be the symbol of corruption. Now, because our political space, you know, actually has got this vacuum of politicians who can articulate to the country how. That is why you're going to get people who are actually, who do not have the clarity as to how is the president responsible for this. If we can get to understand the concept of a president and the things that our president has done to the country and how corruption has escalated, you will know in some way or the other he has everything to do with corruption in South Africa, including this one in the name of Nelson Mandela. Thank you very much. Okay, thanks very much there, Yandisa and Midrand. Well, I really want us to stay away from, bringing other people onto this matter. The exhibition that you're talking about, is it based at the in Houghton? It is at the Nelson Mandela Foundation in Houghton. People can come there anytime. You can come free and interact with it. You spend more time. The exhibition that we had there, the permanent exhibition, which looks at the life and times of Madiba, is so rich that you walk out of that building knowing so much about Madiba and having changed your way of thinking about him, even when you actually were critical of his revolution, his actions as a revolutionary. You walk out understanding so many things and decisions that he had to go through. But this exhibition adds to that because it gives some aspects that were not necessarily covered by the previous one. So now we have a very beautiful fusion of exhibitions that talk about the time of this great leader. And it's going to be in the building of the Nelson Mandela Foundation for the rest of 2018. So it's one of our 2018 program. And we are rolling out many other campaigns and programs that are going to start beginning of this year. This is the first one, of course, 2017, but we are rolling out many others. These are meant to inspire young people, the children, women, men, South Africans, globally, the communities everywhere, the poor and the affluent. Everyone will have a way to mark and celebrate Madiba's life in 2018. Well, it is indeed 4 years since Madiba passed on, and it was indeed a sad day that we had to wake up and learn about this corruption that happened upon his death. But that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. I've a hot.